In this interview, Edie Hand and I had just met earlier in the day, and she introduced me to her book, and you will see that in the video. I also wanted to thank Edie for coming on my show and coming to the SES Sports and Entertainment Industry Symposium here in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm looking forward to you watching her video. Thank you so much for supporting me. Edie Hand, thank you so much for coming. Have a fantastic day.
Welcome to Living True and Truly Living, where real people tell real stories. About real issues. With your host, Tahiera Monique Brown.
Hello, I'm Tahiera Monique Brown, and this is Living True and Truly Living, where real people tell real stories about real issues. And we're at the SES 2016 Sports and Entertainment Industry Symposium, and I'm sitting here today with beautiful Miss Edie Hand.
Thank you.
And I was introduced to her book, The Last Christmas Ride, and it's based on a true story. But Edie, I'm gonna let you tell us the story. I did read it, what the story is about.
Yes.
And it's a very heartbreaking story, but at the same time, it's a story about love, as you was talking about earlier. So share the story with me, and I know that you've said that there's several other books as well.
Yes, this is the beginning of the Ride series. My co-writer, Don Keith, who's from the area, that his alias name was Jeffrey Addison.
Okay.
It came about through, the books are all a series of incidents that took place in my life. And we decided to do this because it was a promise to my brother Terry on his dying bed before he lost his speech. He said, Edith, you should tell our story. I would love for people to know the importance of random acts of kindness. And you've been like a mother and a sister. So I promised him that I would try to do that. So
Well, tell me a little bit more story of the story before you get to the one that said
to tell
you
the
need
story.
to tell the story, because there's more before that.
Yes, coming up in my career, I was related to the late great Elvis Presley, and from my family heritage of rock and roll music, songwriters, I grew up around this in an old country setting in northwest Alabama, where on 4th of July gatherings we would make music on the front porch at my grandmother's house, and people would be on quilts, and we had fried catfish and pots of stew and making music on the front porch. Sometimes Elvis would come. And so my mother's brothers were big songwriters, and the story began there of a strong Southern woman, of my grandmother Alice. And she taught me the importance of a life lesson of you could do hard things. And I didn't know how true that would be in my life as the journey began. I was the oldest of 5, 3 boys and my younger sister. As I went away to college with this heritage, rich heritage of strong women, and my brother and I attended college. It was Florence State University way back then in the late 60s, but it was one of the times that my brother David and I had a house together. Unfortunately, during that time period, we used to talk about what it was like growing up in a little community, the importance of love, and I grew up in a little place called Burnout. Now, honey, Burnout is so small, we would ride our horses to the little corner and write plum on the sign, burnt plum out, because nothing was happening in Burnout, I can tell you that. But anyway, my brother and I would laugh about those things, And little did I know that just those childhood memories would be what I would grow old with, because he was suddenly killed in a car wreck at the age of 19. He's a freshman in college and I was a senior. Had a profound effect on me because I'd learned a lot about laughter from him. My lesson in life from David Blackburn was enjoy life, seize moments. 10 years later, my baby brother, Philip, was killed in another car wreck.
Oh my goodness.
It was devastating for my mom, for my family. I remember I learned from him the importance of the tuggings on our heart and our faith, and the importance of that. And then 15 years later, would not think that my brother Terry was stricken with an aneurysm in the middle of the brain and started to lose every motor skill he had.
Wow.
So for 7 years, I caregave with him, my sister, and my mom. And that's how this came about to tell. We took him on his last Christmas ride. It was a promise that to ride the ride with him. I held him in my arms as he said goodbye. And we know the meaning of angels in our life on earth and the touch of unseen hands.
That's right.
I feel them a lot.
But you know the power of God. You know, I'm a caregiver. And I lost my parents young. You lost your brothers, I lost my parents. And I'm caring for my baby sister now, you know, with the seizures that she has, and, you know, and watching her go through dementia at 42 years old. It's really hard. It's hard. And 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years, it was almost the end, but she fought through. So to hear you talk about enduring the end with your sibling, and I'm looking at that with my sibling, is very...
It's hard. You know, tell you what I did? Is I remember that particular night was that I remembered I could hear my grandmother in my ear saying, Edith, you can do hard things. You can do hard things, Tahiera. This is something that I can tell you that I knew that the pain was gone.
Yeah.
When I let him go, I let the pain. And even today, as I tell the stories, as I thought it's important at this time. No, it is important. Yeah. I've cried 1,000,000 tears, and my heart breaks, because I can tell you that when I let go of understanding that the hardest thing is that we're left behind.
That's true.
But you see, what you're doing is a beautiful thing, to allow real stories to be told.
And that's what this show is
about. And that's what I love about you.
It's not about sadness. It's about overcoming. It's about courageousness. It's about love. It's about patience. You know, it's about working your way through fear, and knowing that love is waiting for you. All you got to do is take that step and know that everything will work out for you. Now I'm gonna cry up all my mascara.
No, you look good, girl. Here's the thing: what we're learning, the tears. Have brought who we are today.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that what my life lessons have made me have more compassion for my fellow man. They have allowed me to do things for kids with special needs, for kids with cancer.
Yes.
I'm a cancer survivor. I know that it has taught me to give back and pay life forward, and I see that's what you're doing. If you share other people's stories, then other people will see that that is an important value, that we pay it forward. Helping these kids I never thought I would do in Indonesia. I'm just a vehicle. You're a vehicle to tell these stories.
That was my goal.
That's what you're a vehicle. I'm a vehicle in another vein, is that we do that to help one another in life.
And you do it through words. Because at the end of the day, it's
powerful, it's knowledge.
It's words, because this book is beautifully written. And I just scanned it, but it's beautifully written, and I can't wait to read it. But thank you for coming on my show. Thank you for sharing your story.
My privilege.
And thank you for believing in me.
I do, and I hope if people want to learn more about me and the books, they'll go to ediehand.com.
Ediehand.com, and we'll make sure we post that, and we'll make sure we post the front of your book as well.
And I'll tell people about your show. We'll interconnect on our sites. How about that?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Edith.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us for Living True and Truly Living, where real people tell real stories about real issues. Thank you. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for your support. Please come back and visit my channel and subscribe and give a thumbs up. And just let me know what you think of the project. Just please leave your comments below. I do have several more videos to come. Thank you so much again. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.